Ladies and gentlemen, Bertie Ahern.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honour and privilege, and thank you, Secretary of State, thank you, Prime Minister, for bringing us all together on this occasion. And just a few words, and keep you away from what's going to be a beautiful night and beautiful meal. It's an absolute honour to be with so many people that I've worked with and been involved with, and people right throughout the Northern Ireland and out to the island of Ireland that we've worked with over the years. It's an incredible gathering, Chris, that you've put together to bring so many people together. So many people, some of them I haven't seen for a decade or 20 years. So thank you for that. I just want to thank you all collectively for the work that we all did together, because it would have been impossible. Sure, there were difficult days, and I went back to visit that room at the back that Tony and I lived in for a long time, and I always remember the pleasant walks in the garden, except when Secretary Manlinson had a mad dog that used to attack me when I went out. But other than that, it was great. And great to see you, Peter, and great to see all the Secretary of States and Prime Ministers that have been there. The effort that was put in for 27 years, it's 27 years, Bill, since you first came. I was leader of the opposition. The effort that you and Hillary put in every year since. Hillary was in Limavady today and didn't sit around Queens out there working. Bill went to Derry last night. And that kind of non-stop connection was the same connection as we had in the final weeks of the talks. And I think it's important that sometimes when we talk about the agreement, it comes down, and I understand it in modern media, that it comes down to the last few days, but it's the years, it's the huge amount of painstaking years that were put in by all of you, the efforts, the drafting and trying to convince people and cajole people, carry people with you, having rows with your own people. I saw that firsthand. I saw the deputations and the delegations and people saying this isn't the right thing to do, and people saying the opposite. But just to collectively, thank you for that. George, thanks to you. Thanks, Heather. George was some guy. I never saw him angry, but we did have a few phone calls in the last week which were difficult. But George, you taught me a hell of a lot, and I think the commitment that you put into this place and this island has been outstanding. And I know you told me you're going to be 90 in a few months' time. You still look a young fella, but thanks for all the effort you put in here. It's been some effort. John de Chastelain was not always a popular guy, but John, it's Canada's a long way away, and I know you made the journey again. So thanks for all that you did, John. I'd love to mention everyone. That's not possible, but I do want to say, I do want to say to the Taoiseach, to the Taoiseach, that if the people in the north think that they made a big act coming together, bringing the DUP and Sinn Féin together, some class act that these two made, bringing Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael together, I can tell you. And Tony is right. My dad wouldn't have been a big supporter of that either. But anyway, he's up above thinking it's the right thing, and on we go. I just want to say two more things. But rigorous impartiality. The agreement. There was two agreements. Sometimes people forget in the media. There was the multi-party agreement, and there was the agreement that Tony and I signed. And And that is the agreement that is so important to me. Clause 1.5, Article 1.5, rigorous impartiality. You know, that we didn't start that. That came from the Down Street Declaration from John Major, Albert Reynolds, come into the framework document between John Major and John Bruton. It was kind of our opening document that we took forward. And all the time it was the two governments working together. And we recognised in the framework document and in Down Street Declaration, many people here were involved in both of them, we reckoned that the constitutional issue was, you know, the big issue we had to deal with. And we came to the position that that's one we had to crack. And Prime Minister, in doing that, we had to look at the Government of Ireland Act 1920, Article 75. That had to be changed. I had to change Articles 2 and 3 of our Constitution claiming jurisdiction. And we struck a very fine balance. And that's a balance that was voted on by the people. It's not a myth, or it's not a loose thing. It was, and as your referendum in June of 2016 is sanctum, and so is the 1998 one. And all I say to all you guys is, you know, I'm all on for finding solutions, but the solutions has to be on the rigorous impartiality that keeps it all together. Going outside, that gets us all unstuck. And the one thing I don't want to see is that one side goes this way, the other side goes that way. Tony Blair and I watched that for a long time. I know you'll get that balance right, but that strict balance is hugely important to what we achieved and what we continue. Last, I want to thank Tony. We worked together for 10 solid years. Actually, we worked together in opposition for a few before that. But you know, I was told, and my mother, who died in the last week, said, watch the Brits. And my last conversation, we said, are you sure you know what you're doing in the Constitution? And I said, listen, Matt, don't be worrying. This Blair guy's a nice bloke. And but Tony, thanks for being such a really great colleague. We had some tough days, with some tough times, with some tough years. You had a huge amount of other things to do with. Ireland is a very important country, as Taoiseach and Tánaiste know, they're busy guys, but I saw your workload. The thousands of staff that are directly feeding in thousands of things, as the Prime Minister sees now every day. And I appreciate, Prime Minister, the time you're putting into this in recent times. But I think it's... I didn't believe growing up that a British Prime Minister would take this island so serious as you did, Tony. I didn't think that was possible. I watched the troubles, I watched the mayhem, watched the conflict. It started when I was finishing my last year in secondary school. I was Prime Minister of the country, Taoiseach, when we got to where we got. I was near to the end of my political career when we got to 2007. So Tony, thanks for the loyalty, the commitment to the people of Ireland. Last, folks, I hope this is a really good night. I don't think it'd be possible to ever get such a crowd together again. People who gave so much of their life collectively, hundreds and thousands of years, to making this island a better place. Thanks for that.